Hi, writers. Today we're going to write another small moment story, but today we're going to learn how we can kind of unfreeze our characters and bring them a little bit more to life and hear what our characters have to say. Let's listen to Lisa's lesson today, and then we'll talk about it.
Hi, writers. Welcome back for today's Writers Workshop. So, writers, I wanted to share a story with you that I started. I wrote a story about the time Riley and I took my dog Memphis for a walk, and he got off his leash. Yeah, it was like such a scary moment that I just had to write a story about it. But as I was reading my story, I kind of thought, it kind of seems flat. Like, it doesn't really seem like the books that we read. It made me think about that game freeze tag. Have you guys ever played freeze tag? I used to play it all the time. So, when you're playing freeze tag and somebody tags you and you're like frozen and you can't move and you can't talk? It's like my story and the people in it are frozen. Let me just read to you how my story goes. One day, Riley and I took Memphis for a walk. He saw a squirrel and chased him. We found him. Do you see what I mean? It's kind of flat. So, writers, today I wanted to teach you, just like published authors can make their stories come to life, you can unfreeze the people in your books and the people in your stories. We can make them move and we can make them talk. So, writers, let's see if I can bring my story to life. If I can unfreeze the people in my story by making them move and making them talk. So I'm going to go back to my first page and I want to think about and really remember that moment of my story. So I can remember how the people in my story, me and Riley and even Memphis, moved or talked. So one day Riley and I took Memphis for a walk. Let me think, like, what happened? I know. Yeah, this was an important part. Riley said, "Can I hold the leash?" And I remember saying back to her, "You have to hold the leash really tight." So see how I'm able to remember what we were talking about? Like, that seems like an important part to put into my story, to unfreeze my characters. So maybe it would sound like, one day Riley and I took Memphis for a walk. Riley said, "Can I hold the leash?" "You need to hold it really tight," I said. So, writers, does that sound more like the books we read by like making my characters and the people in my story talk? Yeah, let's try it on another page. He saw a squirrel and chased him. So, like, I could see it in my picture, right? There he is off his leash. And let me just remember, like, maybe try making my characters, like my dog, move. So I remember Memphis started running so fast and so hard that the collar came right over his neck and right over his head. And then Riley said, "Oh no!" So maybe it would sound more like, he saw a squirrel and chased him. Memphis started running so fast and so hard that his collar slid over his head. Riley said, "Oh no!" And Memphis raced down the block. So, writers, did you see how I was able to use my pictures and go back to that moment and think about unfreezing the people in my story by making them move and making them talk so that my story sounds more like the books that we're reading? So in a minute, writers, you're going to go off and write some of your stories. And before I send you off, I want you to think of an idea for your story today. And it might be helpful to think of an idea for a story that you have a really big feeling for, a time you remember really, really well, so that you can do what I just did and you can make the people in your story come to life. You can make them move and you can make them talk. Like I picked this moment where like Memphis ran away and I was so scared, like would we find him? So writers, let's think of a moment that's maybe gives you a big feeling or something you remember really well. And just take a second and think about who was there and where were you and what happened first. And really remember what happened so that you can make your characters move and make your characters talk. Are you guys ready to get started? Go bring those stories to life.
Okay, boys and girls, I took one of my stories, my small moment stories, and I tried to bring mine to life like readers and writers do. I wrote a story. It was about Ace's football game. And it said, Ace had a football game on Sunday. He scored a touchdown. It was a good game. And I was like, wow, I really didn't add much detail, or I didn't bring my character to life or have him saying anything. So then I went back and I added some more of those details. I put where the game was. The game was at Lake Catholic. I put, he played a really hard team. And then I put what Ace was thinking. Ace said, I know we will win. We worked hard all week. Everyone screamed after the game because they were so excited. So I added that little detail. And then I wanted to make sure that, I unfroze my character. I brought him to life. And there's Ace with his number 5. And there's him saying, touchdown. And this was him right after he scored. I put his arm up in the air with the football. So I brought my character to life. I went back and I added more. Writers, go ahead and do that today.